Greetings, everyone. This is Burair Ali Hussain, and I'm back again with the another exciting episode of Brainstorming with Burair. Brainstorming with Burair, as you know, is a platform where I invite people from all around the world, and today I will talk about the fear of public speaking. Glossophobia, a term that is used for public speaking, a fear of public speaking, is one of the most popular phobias in the world, as the percentage of this fear has risen up to 75%, and some people say it is up to 90%. So today I have invited my worthy guest. She is author, peak performance strategist, international speaker, podcaster, public figure, author, and she has many feathers in her cap. Let's welcome Miss Shaba Shams.
Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
Hi, Bure. Hello, citizens of the world. Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to be here.
So let's roll out. So, welcome to Brainstorming with Burair. And I would like to know about you that uh, you have so many feathers in your cap. So, what has made you wear multiple amazing feathers in your cap, and how this has become so great and so tremendous, Shabashams, that we are watching, that we are seeing now?
Well, that's really a good question. I
Thank
think
you.
it's a lot of curiosity growing up as a child already. So I think there are people who just know that they refuse the status quo. When you do refuse the status quo, you always push yourself to bigger and higher and better. So always, I think this is the first seed. So anyone out there who feels like they don't like where they're at, they know they can do more. They believe they can do more. They don't understand why they need to do certain things just because uh, we've always done them this way. Culture, family, religion, society they impose on us so much that in your heart, if you feel like you are destined for something more, you should go for it and you should try it. So of course, that's just the number one step, right? What's happened in your heart, in your mind, that you know that there is more to you. Then the second one is to do you have what it takes to take that action? Once you have that thought, I need to do more, I need to take a risk, I need to go on a different path, go to another country, whatever it is, then do you have the courage to do it? So a lot of people, they have the thought but they stop because they lack courage and they allow fear to paralyze them, to stop them. So then what do you have that gut to push and do the jump? And then once you do the jump, you have to surround yourself with the right people, the right resources, the community that needs to be around you to help you. So as you can see, there are a number of components, but it all starts with you saying no to what is and you wanting to accomplish more.
Okay, uh, that would be a personal question, but have you all started this before marriage or after marriage?
Oh, I've always been this way. Marriage has nothing to do with this. I was already an entrepreneur when I was like 9 years old. I was in sports. I grew up as a gymnast. I grew up around like the men's world. And I always been vocal. I always, expressed my disagreement with things. I have been also in my old days when I was in between high school and college, kind of an activist, and I wanted to change the world in a way. So I don't think it's marrying somebody who's gonna do anything to you. A lot of people, they put their lives on hold until they got married, and they think that marriage is going to make them happy, richer, beautiful, whatever it is. And that's not the case. You have to find your own soul within yourself. You have to love yourself before you even attract the person. Because if you don't know what you want to do with your life, you might end up with the wrong person. And a lot of people are in really bad marriages because they haven't taken the time to know where they want to be in life and what they want to accomplish. And then they partner with somebody who is not the right person for them to accomplish all that. And there is a break.
Okay, but I must say that your significant other has played, I mean, a significant role in your life. That's why we are seeing uh, a, a positive thing, positive vibe from you. My next question would be that who sowed the giving nature in you? I mean, was it a personality or circumstance that made you to do these things to be a giving nature person?
Well, I believe that my very first person probably is my father, because my dad had a very free spirit. He was a boxer in France, and he lived in France for a while. And then when he came back home, he returned to Algeria. He really allowed me to kind of break through the norms of what a female need to be, or what should I be, growing up as a girl. So I remember him taking me to boxing matches and concerts, and I did a lot of cafes and bars where I was just hanging out with him and so many other men in his circle. So I was very much exposed at a very young age to artists, to people who were athletics, and authors. So I was exposed to that creative mind at a very early age that I believe was the seed. And then also through my own curiosity, I was always curious to learn more, to know more, and there, of course, I went into what I was feeding my brain. All the reading that I was doing helped a lot, because if you don't have that philosophy or that mindset in your circle, you have to explore through libraries and now the internet, where you can find the right um, teaching. It's like looking for a mentor or looking for a coach. You really have to find what resonates with you, but you can't find what resonates with you until you know what is it that you're thinking about, what is it that you are passionate about. So I think people need to spend more time with themselves, going through their thoughts and their emotions, in order for them to find the right people that can help them grow, and in any industry and in any niche.
So, how was your first experience of public speaking?
Well,
Did you shiver, and how did you overcome from that?
I really don't remember when was my first experience public speaking, because I've always been in public speaking. It's just like I didn't know what I didn't know. I've been an educator. I taught in high school when I was in back home in Algeria. I spoke at different events. Like I said, I was an activist. So at a very early age, I was interviewed for radio stations, and I was spokesperson for different things that we did. So I don't really recall exactly when it happened. So it's just that until recent years, especially in the United States, that I started really looking at public speaking, from speaking on stage. Like, for instance, 2 weeks ago, I was at Elevate Daytona here in Daytona Beach, Florida, where I spoke in front of a big audience on stage for the first time in a long time because of COVID. But last year, I did a lot of events where I spoke in front of thousands on Zoom. So it's like, what do you do when you start looking at, oh, I'm really passionate about this. Now, how can I take it to the next level? I believe that we all are public speakers at different levels. So now, the first time that I did a very big one, it was at a university as a keynote speaker, and there were hundreds of people there, and I was really nervous, because it was the first time that I did something of that sort. And yeah, I mean, I think that I had a knot in my stomach and I was kind of shaking a little bit. But then you switch your mindset. However, since then I learned different techniques. So I think that a lot of people get into public speaking and they do not understand that you can actually learn how to master your mindset and how to develop ways to be super relaxed when you go speak in public. And I just had that experience 2 weeks ago. As I was waiting to go on stage, I realized that I wasn't nervous at all because, one, I was preparing myself with some breathing. And then two, visualization. I develop a visualization ability where I have seen the stage and me speaking on the stage before I got on the stage. So these are like little techniques you can use. Of course, every person is different, but nervousness of public speaking is natural. Getting over it is tactical.
So my next question would be: is public speaking for anyone? Because some of the fields, people say that this field is not for you, this field is not for you. So is public speaking is for everyone? And if it's not for everyone, uh, who cannot be a public speaker?
Well, to answer the first question, is public speaking for everybody? I do not believe so because there are 7.6 billion on the planet. And I believe that we all have different skills and we all have different things that we are meant to do. And just like you say, is becoming an architect is for everybody, is becoming an actor for everybody, singer for everybody? Of course not. So public speaking at that professional level is not for everybody. Speaking is for everybody, but professional public speaking is not for everybody. However, if somebody really wants to do it so bad and they know in their heart that they are meant to be on stage and speak and influence people, and when they talk, people listen and they have this, like we say in French, the je ne sais quoi that grabs people, they should do it even if they are scared to do it. See now the difference? That some people, they might want to do it, but it's not for them. Okay, just like dancing might not be for them, music might not be for them, public speaking at a professional level might not be for them. But there are also some people who are scared to do it, but it is what they need or should be doing because they have a message, they have a passion, they can change the world with what they can bring out. So these, I believe, are different things. But in any case, if people want to develop their public speaking, they can always do that. And if you go to Instagram at Shaba Shams, I did number of sessions there where actually I talk about some tips, the do's and the don'ts of public speaking, that I can share with you here if you like. But there are some rules. I mean, having the passion and speaking from the heart is one thing, but developing a methodology and a structure, it's very mechanical, it's like learning anything else in life. So you can learn the tactical and the mechanical of public speaking, and then if you combine it with the passion and the ability, then that's where the magic happens.
I would love to talk about the tips and tricks, but at the end of the session,
Sure,
and
yeah.
I also love to talk about the visualization part and how did you do that, because it's amazing. Being a mind sciences enthusiast, and I have also learned NLP and Silva method, all those kind of things. So I am also interested in these things, and I'm open to learn and also like to give to the audience so they can learn also. So my next question would be that due to the digital revolution, I mean the internet and all those things, uh, public speaking has been turned into communication, like two-way things. So how what's your take on that? So I mean, how can you say about that, that is public speaking has been changed now, or is it is something that is same like 20, 30 years ago, and same that is happening now?
Well, I mean, we all go through shifts and transformation and changes throughout history. I mean, um, like maybe 20 years ago, you would always think that the only way of shopping is to get your basket and to go to the store and have some cash in your hand and then fill your basket, pay, and come home. This is the only way you can shop. And then, of course, there was the revolution of e-commerce and Amazon, where literally you click on a button and something appears in front of by your door. I don't see anything else in life as being different. We go through these evolutions, these changes in life, that there was a time we did it a certain way and then we develop into another way. I mean, just look at us. You're in Pakistan and I'm in the USA and we are having this conversation. So public speaking is not going to be any different. So those public speakers who solely did it the old fashioned way, they got speaking gigs and they go on stage and workshops, seminars, conferences, that might change a little bit. So if they decide to remain solely doing their business the way they did, and I actually on especially on Clubhouse, I heard a lot of public speakers whose income has significantly suffered because they're still waiting on that format to come back for them to go do speaking gigs in a room, in a space, in front of people. But that, I believe, is changing or has changed. And we need also to pivot. So now how can public speakers pivot from the in-person events to maybe a hybrid event? So there are events that probably will be virtual, maybe virtual and in person, and maybe just virtual or and in person. So there are different formats that we can actually create. And there are also, I believe that it's EXP, which is a real estate company that is worldwide, that is actually, again, changing and disrupting the market space by coming up with this all remote company that the staff go into spaces, virtual spaces, where they train virtually and they're connecting. So they almost created like a virtual reality where they are still doing or conducting the business that a realtor needs to do, but they're doing it virtual. So is public speaking going to move maybe into a platform where it's augmented reality or virtual reality, where we create spaces where attendees actually enter the room as avatars, and then the speaker comes in the room and they create the conference space virtually? Possible. We're not there yet. I haven't seen it yet, but it's something that would be super interesting to see if some technology like this could actually create a virtual reality for speakers. But there should be and there will be some pivoting for public speakers if really they want to continue doing what they do. um, like even just at the event that I have been to on August 26th, normally this event brings like 700 people. It's like two stages. And this time we hardly even filled the main floor, because they created the social distancing format where two chairs were blocked and then one open, etc. And they didn't allow a lot of people in. And some attendees also were scared to even come to an event like this because it's an indoor. So as long as the pandemic is around, and again, let me clarify that the vaccine is not a cure. It's just a vaccine that will help us get through a certain, period of time that probably needs to happen every so often, every 8 months or a year or whatever the medical industry recommends. But as long as we don't have a cure, we're gonna live. Like we are in this space with COVID-19 and every other mutation of it. So it's not just COVID-19, it's COVID-19 and all the other mutations. And we really don't know how long it's going to take us to get through this tunnel where we have developed a cure and we can live without worrying about, about it and its mutation. So because we are in a long haul here, a lot of people thought, it'll be a couple of weeks and we're going to be done. We are entering our second year and we're still seeing a rise, and we're seeing the problem and the devastation of it. But we have to create a life that we can operate, we can still create. And I believe that the digital and the virtual and the augmented reality might be another option for us right now.
What's your favorite book and why that book is your favorite one?
Okay, so I think this is where I can probably throw in there my do's and my don'ts, but I'm just going to focus on the do's. So my first tip to a public speaker is really to know your story. A lot of people don't know their story and they think that their story is not important. Your story is who you are. Like, for instance, if I said I am afraid of public speaking, how, but I overcome public or fear by doing X, Y, and Z. This is something. But if I say, I'm an immigrant, English is my fourth language. When I started public speaking, it was very, very scary for me. So now I'm taking it to a whole different level by sharing my story that English is not my native language. So I have another dimension of fear because I had to learn English. I have to speak in a fourth language to communicate. So those people who don't speak four languages might hear it and they're like, wow, if she can do it, I can do it too. So bring your own personal story, bring your heart, the trouble, the hardship you have gone through to give your message. And then build clear about the message. When you enter into a conversations, don't mumble. Don't speak just for the sake of speaking. A lot of speakers, I hear them all the time, especially on Clubhouse. They come and they talk about a topic like mindset or how to be positive or how to start a startup or whatever. And they're like on and on and on and on, and they lose completely the message. So be very focused on what the message is. And you have to know that before you even start talking. What do you want your listener to take away? One, two, three. Focus on that. So, and then remove all that extra stuff that will make your message get lost. And then, of course, don't use too many difficult words. Try to sound intelligent. A lot of people do that. It's like, oh, they probably use words that you have to go to the dictionary. You speak to the general public. I think you need to know your audience. So when you speak to the general public, make sure you speak in a way that any listener can follow along, can understand. And if you are in a more niche down and specialized, you're talking to CEOs or scientists, and you want to use big words and complicated concepts, do it in a very niche down. But when you go to Clubhouse, you come to Facebook, you're on social media, try to keep the message very simple in a way that people can understand you. And avoid mumbling, avoid lengthy discussions. And then, of course, when you know all that, if you're speaking on stage or at an event, make sure you write why you want to talk about it, create bullet point, and then practice it over and over again. Record yourself on camera. See, maybe you are doing some things that you shouldn't be doing, or you know communication and speaking, by the way, is not just about the words, it's also the nonverbals and your body and how you use it, and the energy you diffuse. So practice all that and try to learn from the best. Watch some speakers that are in the same industry, for instance, or that you love listening to, and see what is it about this person that make you want to listen and listen and listen, and try to incorporate that in your own personality. So I think those are the ideas. Your story, your message, be concise, and then the last, practice, practice, practice.
So you have mentioned about the visualization. Would you like to explain a bit more how do you do that?
So for me, it was interesting because this is the first time that I tried it and it worked and I love it and I'm actually gonna, use it. So visualization is really important, is really to be able to look at yourself on that stage, right? So how do you do that? You need to know the space where you're going to be speaking at. So for me, it happens that I knew the space because I've been there a few times. And then of course there were a lot of photos that I had from the space. And then when you practice your speech, literally you close your eyes and then you see yourself on that stage and then you see the audience and then you create that energy. And before you even go on stage, you have to have some exercises. You do them even during the practice. Like, for instance, I did develop some exercises before I entered the stage where I focus on the stage. I am at the door waiting to enter the stage, and this is what I tell myself. That way, when they call my name, I'm already ready. So I was literally doing that by myself, recording myself. So that was another funny thing because you record yourself and then you see it and then you laugh. And then, of course, when you practice the speech, do it everywhere. I was doing it in my kitchen, in my car, in front of my husband, in my living room. And I was also doing it outside. Like when I go swim, I will be in the pool and I imagine the trees being like the audience, and I picture that literally. So in every single space, I create the stage where I'm be speaking while I am practicing my speech. So this is, I believe, is very powerful because then you create that vibration and energy. When the moment comes, you just go back to those exercises you were doing before you get on stage, and then you lock yourself in that same energy and then you kill it.
That's amazing. I love to hear that. And my next question would be that what is your favorite book and why that book is favorite?
Well,
Favorite
I do
book.
have, I do have few, and actually I keep them right here. So I'm gonna just share them with you. So I think my favorite book is this one, The Power of Peak Interviews, which actually I wrote. It's my favorite because I wrote it. If it wasn't my favorite book, I wouldn't write it. So that's number one. But I have other books that I have, and the one that really I consider it my Bible as an entrepreneur. It's the book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. As you can see, this book is used and abused because I check it all the time. I use it with my clients. So I use a lot of this. Then, more recently, as I become a 10x in a 10x movement, I don't know if you know it, I joined the Grant Cardone community. I have this book called The 10x Rules, which is also phenomenal in terms of if you want to 10x your life and live your life to the fullest. That's another book that I like.
For those who want to read your book, what are the key points and what are the takeaways they would get from your book?
Yeah, so that's really a good question. The book is based on the interviews like this that I was doing last year. I did about 150, then I compiled them and I told myself, what is it that I learned from it? So, interviewing people made me a better communicator, meaning I listen better because I have to listen to my guests. And then I speak better because I have to come up with questions as they are speaking that are right on point. And then, of course, it helped me build a PR team, like a PR people, all the people that I am connecting with around the world. I met a lot of them and we became friends and we partnered on a few projects. I met them through this power of interviewing. So the reason I call it the power of elite interviews is because I don't interview the general public. I interview successful people, entrepreneurs, authors. I interview people who have failed, tried and failed, and what they learned from it. So I had a very precise idea of who I wanted to interview and why I wanted to get out of them. So that's one thing that you can develop. Communication skills, you can develop them by speaking to people who are at least one step ahead of you and learn from them as well. So that's what I talk about in the book, and you have other payoffs as well that you can discover. It's available on Amazon.
So my next question would be, how can someone learn from you? I mean, if someone wants to connect with you or learn something from you, how can he get from you?
Well, first of all, I'm on Facebook, of course, so you can tag me here. I'm also on Instagram. That's where I'm investing a lot of more of my time at Shaba Shams. I'm on Clubhouse, Shaba Shams. My website, shabashams.com. But if people want to work directly with me, they can DM me, the world speaking, because I am starting, a membership platform or a group coaching where they can join and they can actually get direct interaction with me and help them with their speaking and their growth. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, actually, that's a great news because we will be coming out with it soon. I just partnered with the 10X incubator with Grant Cardone, and we're going to build the tech company that I am hoping will really revolutionize um, the niche down industry, which is a food industry.
So would you like to tell about more, what would be that? What would be that? Because Grant Cardone is something, I mean, amazing. He's an amazing person, and everybody loves to hear what kind of collaboration you are doing.
Yeah, we just partnered actually to build a tech company. I will share more about it soon, but we just partnered to build a tech company.
That's amazing. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, in the end, I would like to question. You can suggest or advise or your final words about the experience or anything you want to tell to the audience, because this would be on the internet. I don't know for how many years people would see you. People would learn from you.
Well, I think my biggest advice, or call to action rather, is first of all, follow me because that's really important to surround yourself with people that can inspire you and empower you. Number two is believe in you. Again, I go back to the question you said, you asked earlier. If you are a person who refuses the status quo, if you want to achieve more in your life and in your heart, when your heart beats, you know that you want to achieve more, don't settle for less. Break all the rules, break all the norms. And if you do have an idea of you want to make a difference, do not listen to your family and friends and spouses and whatever. Just don't. Surround yourself with the community that I can actually that have the same dream, the same vision. Because only the vision comes together when you have people who support you in that vision and give you like a push, that energy, that strength to be able to accomplish it. And then the last one that I think people fail at doing is fill your calendar. A lot of us, we go to conferences or we talk, we listen to a good speech and we're excited. But then it goes like this and then down. The reason is because we don't have a system that keep us going, that keep us motivated. And the way you keep your system up and your energy up and your excitement up is by planning things that get you excited. Like, I have a workshop, then after that workshop, I have a speech, then I have a book to write, I have a company to start, I have to hire people. You have to create moments throughout your day, your week, your months that will all come together and get you towards your goals. But that can only happen if you know what your goals are. And then you know your goal and you reverse engineer. So these are my tips. Build a system and a structure around your own mind to become successful.
That's the amazing thing that I would ever get from any of my uh, guests. So thank you for being on my show, and it's a pleasure talking with you. Uh, Thank you. So people who want to learn from Shaba, they can connect with her through Facebook or Instagram, or she's also doing planning to start some group coaching as well. So thank you for coming again uh, in till the next guest. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.